The landlady smiled cunningly as she handed me the package, and to think I considered her a good person. She must have been the one to tell Kagome. The yukata fit Kagome so well, it seemed like it was made for her. It suits you. Let's see. She was happy as a child. I might have expected such a reaction for Himitsu, but not from the ever-serious Iwamura. We walked out of the hall with its big mirror, and Kagome started spinning around in front of it, looking at herself from different angles. The landlady complimented both the yukata and Kagome. I forgot how much I'd spent on the thing. Everything seemed to be going a little too smoothly. I could think of something to worry about even when nothing was going on. Now I had a good reason. When we returned to the room, Kagome squinted slyly and said, "Niko-san, you look like you're waiting for a punishment. But we really can't afford this sort of thing. What's the point of talking about that now, since we can't return the yukata?" Well, I'm glad you think so. Where was the catch? But she looked at me intensely, like a strict teacher waiting for an explanation from a mischievous pupil. I really don't know why I did that. Why I bought something so expensive. You know, our life isn't exactly paradise, and I saw an opportunity to distract ourselves a little. When are we going to have a day off at the same time again? You don't have to come up with excuses, Niko-san. Kagome frowned and crossed her arms over her chest defensively. If it's only about the money, what else would it be about? I asked, surprised. God damn it, dude. Nothing. God damn it, homie. Just go for it, my guy. Just go for it. It's right there. Just go for it. It's so obvious. It's so obvious, my G. I mean, it's been obvious from, like, very early on, before we even had to come to the village, but it's my homie, just say it. Just say it. Come on, my guy. Just say it. For the love of God, you're driving me nuts here. You see, you're mad about something again. Because you won't fucking say it. Because she knows you want to say it, but you won't fucking say it. I'm mad about how stupid, short-sighted, and insensitive you are. I've been called the first two before, but insensitive? Well, Iwamura-san, you're hard to please. You started well, too. She's getting angrier and angrier. Started what? I was getting annoyed with her baseless attacks. Scolding me for spending so much money was one thing. I may have deserved it. But when you don't understand what the other person is mad at you for, the person you love, you want to tell me something. Don't you want to tell me anything, Niko-san? What was she trying to say? God damn it. As if out of thick fog, an unexpected hunch began to take shape in my mind. To be honest, I wasn't going to do it so soon. If you were any other girl. But we've just been thrust together by fate. We're fellows in misery, and relationships like that really last long or end well. I was talking absolute drivel and shifting my gaze all around the room, stubbornly trying to look at anything but Kagome. It was pleasant to think that she was waiting for me to declare my love for her, except I was completely unprepared for it. I guess it took me a very long time to realize my feelings for you, and everything happened so quickly. Niko-san. Her voice was ice cold. So what do you want to tell me? I want to say, judging by her reaction, it seemed like my love confession would be followed by my head becoming the target for every object in the room, light enough for Kagome to pick up. Why was it so difficult with her? I summoned all my courage and blurted it out. I love you, Iwamura Kagome. If she didn't want to hear a long speech, I'd keep it short. Kagome's eyes opened wider and wider, and I prepared to defend myself against dishes, chairs, or something more dangerous. It took you a while. Suddenly her face quivered with tears and tears swelled in her eyes. What? I was waiting so long. I almost gave up hope. So you, too? I was probably ready for any reaction, but not that word. It wasn't even that I wasn't confident of myself as a man or didn't understand her as a woman. It was Kagome. If there were any other girl in her place, I would have understood my feelings much earlier. Niko-san, you're asking a Japanese girl to confess her love for you? I don't know how it is in your country, but we have certain rules. Her words sounded just as silly as mine. I'm not asking for anything. I'm just glad that you too. Sorry, I'm really nervous. I really felt like I was on tenterhooks. Here you go apologizing again. Kagome laughed and looked unbelievably beautiful to me, with tears in her eyes and her cheeks red. It was hard for me to keep looking at her and stick to the rules she'd talked about, so I lowered my head and stared at the empty bowl on the table. What are we supposed to do next? What do you mean? It was hard enough to start living in a room with a young man, and now Of course, I'd also thought about more than once, but when Kagome put it that way, the problem started to seem much more serious to me. I'll behave like a gentleman, you have nothing to fear. Except, she doesn't want you to behave like a gentleman, sir, she said quietly, lowering her eyes. I don't know if I can behave like a lady. Oh, even better. Everything happened by itself, and Kagome found herself in my arms. What? You don't have a cool CG of them, like, embracing or something before the sex stuff? Like, I'm not gonna lie, you boys already seen all the sex CGs, because of course I looked those up. Why wouldn't I? I am no fucking... I take no moral high ground. But, like, there's no moment where she's got that yukata on, and, he's like... I don't know, in whatever uniform. I don't think minors really wear a uniform. Where they're like hugging it out. They're like, oh yeah, we finally confessed. And then they boned. You know, that old chestnut. You know what? Just for immersion's sake, I'm going to look it up for myself. Because of course I have the folder saved on my computer. Why wouldn't I? You think I'm some kind of weirdo who doesn't save that shit? Anyway. What? Oh yeah, that would explain the outfit she's wearing there. That's not showing up on my capture, is it? Okay, no. Yeah, no, she's definitely wearing a yukata there, isn't she? That's definitely what she's got on around there. Uh-huh. And then there's this one. Where there is no yukata, but that is definitely the background of that hotel room. Things are checking out now. Nice. I just looked at my fucking thing. It says the image is zoomed in 69%. That's fucking great. But yeah, no, they definitely boned. As if that wasn't blatantly obvious. Wait, does that mean there's 2 boning scenes then? Potentially? Because these look like 2 different moments. But maybe they're not. Maybe they're like, no, maybe they just decided to swap it around. You're like, I'll be bottom this time, and then, you'll be bottom this time. I don't know. But anyway, everyone's heart builds up scar tissue as years go by. In the end, it's all about finding someone who won't recoil when you bare your soul to them. Of course, I was still very young, and so was Kagome, but it still seemed to me that she'd experienced much more than I had in 18 years. Maybe her main fear was what I could think if I looked inside her. It's not that easy to open up to another person. I'd probably never been afraid of it because I thought I had nothing to hide, and conceptually it wasn't that much different from most other people. I had no dark secrets or skeletons in my closet, perverted fantasies or fetishes. I didn't have a mortal grudge against anyone, wasn't planning any sort of revenge. I wasn't interested in politics or economics. Philosophical questions bothered me more than real social problems. In a sense, I was one of the people who were quiet when they came for the communists. The only thing such a person might fear when opening up to someone else, that they'd be considered worthless and unremarkable. I woke up pretty early, tried to move, and immediately realized that my left arm and shoulder were completely numb. It's almost like there's a lady laying on them. Kagome was sleeping pressed to me, held me in a vice grip. I carefully freed myself from her embrace, got up and stretched my arms. What did last night mean to us? I absolutely needed to go outside and get some fresh air. Maybe put some pants on first. The freezing cold morning greeted me with a fog and a pleasant chill. I didn't know how winter was here in the mountains, but I bet it'd be colder than in Tokyo. A yukata wouldn't exactly be considered warm clothing, something we would definitely need. I walked down an almost deserted street, wondering where I could find the money. Almost deserted. No fucking way. What? Himitsu was walking towards me, wearing a beautiful yukata. Of course, somewhere in the depths of my memory, I knew Himitsu's grandmother lived not too far from this village, but I was still surprised to see her that... You knew that Himitsu's grandma lived near the village. My guy. The fuck are you doing? What are you doing, my G? What are you doing, my guy? Now Himitsu's all of a sudden in the picture. Don't get me wrong, I love Himitsu. Now's not the time. On the other hand, it's probably why this place had come to mind as somewhere to escape to. Like, I get that, but anyway, what options did I have right now? Go back inside. Turn around and leave? Yes. Hide? Yes. Almost after everything that had happened, there was zero reason Himitsu had to know where I was. I didn't know what kind of rumors were circulating about us at school. I would have liked to trust Himitsu. At this point, it would be both foolish and dangerous. True, but I just froze, unable to take even a single step. God damn it. The first option for most mammals in a dangerous situation in the face of a serious threat is to freeze and hide. While I tried to force myself to run, Himitsu noticed me.
Niko-kun?
And then I finally managed to turn around and start walking away.
Niko-kun, it's you, right?
It was too late. I stopped and waited for her to come closer.
Niko-kun, what are you doing here?
Himitsu looked surprised, but not particularly shocked. And you? I asked a stupid question just to say something.
I'm buying food for breakfast.
Perhaps I should have been more careful and paid more attention to my surroundings. I thought Himitsu would be visiting her grandmother at the end of October. Ah, I see. How are you?
Niko-kun,
She frowned.
I've been so worried, and now you're just joking around? They told us at school that you and Iwamoto-senpai kidnapped Kobayashi-senpai, and then you just disappeared. Was I supposed to think that you ran away or were arrested? I've spent so many nights crying, not knowing whether you were dead or alive, and here you are, fine, healthy, and smiling, like nothing happened.
The thing is, so many things have happened, I don't even know where to start.
What about Iwamoto-senpai? Is it true? Did you two kidnap Kobayashi-senpai together?
Wait a minute, don't just start throwing accusations at me. The situation really was so complicated that I didn't even want to start explaining it.
Oh, I see.
She was about to frown, but then pursed her lips as if she were going to cry.
Niko-kun, if you really did it, my dad can help you.
No need. I quickly waved my hands. Definitely no need for that. Don't say a word to your father about this, got it?
But why?
Because it's my business. Once everything settles down, I'll return to Tokyo. I lied. I doubt the corporation would ever leave us alone.
Suspicious people came to your house several times, trying to see something in your windows. Do you know how worried I was?
Sorry.
Why should I care about your apologies? My nerves aren't ever going to regrow themselves, you know?
I'm not having it easier either, you know. I understand that you've been worried, but I was the one who had to leave everything behind and run away, not you. Her worry, as was often the case, felt inappropriate, pointless, and excessive. Your father won't be able to help. He'll only make the situation worse. Who would believe us? Me, if I say I'm not guilty. Besides, it wasn't true. I'd become an accomplice of Kagome's just by silently watching her hold Ellie hostage. I couldn't just abandon the girl, even if formally I was less guilty than her.
So Iwamoto-senpai is with you?
She wrung her hands pitifully. No, not at all. Last time I saw her was in Tokyo.
Niko-kun, I can tell you're lying.
Why would I lie about that?
If you and Iwamoto-senpai, since there's something between you two?
God, this is what she was really worried about. Himitsu, there's a lot you don't understand, and I can't explain it all. That's because I actually just can't, and because things are very complicated. So just don't jump to conclusions. Everything is going to be alright with me. I've settled down just fine, and I'm not planning on dying yet.
Niko-kun,
She trod pleadingly and shifted her grip on her grocery bag. And you? Are you going to be here long?
today's the festival.
Festival? I asked a bit too loudly. I don't even know. Are you going? Is that why you came? I knew perfectly well that my surprise looked extremely unnatural, but could do nothing about it.
Niko-kun, I'd really like to tell you the whole truth.
I couldn't think of a persuasive enough lie, so I ended up just keeping my mouth shut. Wait. What'd you say? I'd really like you to tell me the whole truth. Okay, I was like, wait a minute. What kind of truth is Himitsu hiding? Himitsu looked at me right in the eyes and finally sighed, and the tension on her face eased somewhat.
My grandmother's ill, so I'm not going to the festival today.
Really? I sighed with relief. Oh, thank God your grandmother's sick. Oh. Nothing serious, I hope.
I hope so too. You aren't planning on leaving here anytime soon, are you?
No. I drawled.
I'll see you again before I go. I hope you find the courage to tell me what happened by then.
Goodbye. I stood at attention watching her go until Himitsu turned a corner. Kagome was already awake and had made breakfast. Where did you go so early in the morning? Just wanted some fresh air. It smelled too much like sex in here. I reached over to give her a kiss, but Kagome pulled away lightly. You weren't this shy last night. I sniffed, but she didn't seem to be in the flirting mood. Alright, sorry.
Niko-kun, stop apologizing.
Kagome shoved my side hard enough to make me fall to the floor. Didn't want to tell her I'd bumped into Himitsu, but we had a good chance of meeting her at the festival, even though Himitsu had said she wouldn't be going. And then, when would she be returning to Tokyo? If her grandmother got worse, Himitsu would probably stay in the village longer. I had no reason to suspect Himitsu would tell her father or anyone else about me, at least on purpose. It would also be naive to hope she wouldn't let it slip.
Nico-san, is there something upsetting you?
I was sitting, holding my chopsticks over the rice bowl, like an executioner making a terrible pause with his axe above the criminal's neck. No, just thinking.
About what?
About what? I couldn't get Himitsu out of my head, so I blurted out the first thing that came to it. We're like a married couple now.
Married?
Kagome exclaimed and turned red.
If you think I'll let you get to me whenever you want.
I was about to say that I wasn't thinking anything like that, but stopped at the very last moment. After all, why would I say that if I in fact did think exactly that? I was a healthy 18-year-old. Of course I did. Maybe even more than once a day. And then if you try and get to me, I'll do the same.
We have a deal.
Great. An awkward silence descended upon our room, only broken by the sounds of the village waking up outside. So it's a festival day? I finally asked.
Yes.
Kagome replied thoughtfully, then flinched as if she suddenly realized something.
Don't you dare spend money there. One yukata is enough for us to have to save on money until the end of the month.
Christ, want me to give you all the money and just keep some for pocket change?
That's a good idea. Except, why would you need pocket change?
Well, for example, to buy yukatas occasionally. I sighed and finally pierced the rice with my chopsticks.
Nico-san, I'm not joking. Nothing has changed because of what happened yesterday.
Nothing has changed, huh?
Well, I didn't mean...
She grew embarrassed first, then angry.
I was talking about money. We aren't any richer just because we spent a night together.
Obviously, I drawled. If this stuff earned you money, I'd have been a millionaire by the end of my relationship with Catherine. Okay, you didn't have to say it like that, my dude. That's not the kind of... Jesus.
So you have to take things seriously.
Although if Himitsu spilled the beans, we might never need money again. Would we have to escape again? Maybe life in the village wasn't perfect, but would we be better off anywhere else? And to a degree, I was used to it by now, even to the manual labor at the mine. I'm more than serious about this.
Yeah? I can't tell.
Kagome kept scolding me, but I couldn't get rid of the anxiety from my meeting with Himitsu. With the yukata by, we couldn't just not go to the damn festival. How would I explain all that to Kagome? I woke up in a different world today, so I'm still trying to figure out how to live in it. I really want to, and I've always wanted, to take care of you and provide a decent life for both of us. But that's impossible now. We aren't living, we're surviving. My fear caused by something completely different was making me say things I didn't really believe. Yes, our life wasn't that easy, but I wouldn't say we were just surviving. There are many good things too.
So that's what you think.
Kagome turned her head away and stared at the wall, as if searching for any imperfections. I'm not saying I dislike living with you. It's just, you've also said that our finances leave a lot to be desired. No matter what I said, it sounded shitty. You see...
Stop.
Kagome suddenly interrupted me with resolve.
Why do you never call me by my name?
Well, she'd have certain problems with that. I usually called Himitsu Sunshine, and Catherine was Katya to me. But I just couldn't force myself to call some people by their names. It seemed, almost physically, felt unnatural. As if I were calling my mother by her first name. Kagome-san? I forced the words out, but Kagome only frowned harder. Kagome-chan? She tried to contain it, but started giggling. Alright, fine, just Kagome, I said, trying to sound as confident as possible.
I'm starting to think you slept with me just because you had nothing better to do.
What? I exclaimed and even stood up, shocked by her words. For your information, I can be a fox sometimes, but I'm not a con artist. I've loved you for quite some time, just only realized it just recently.
Loved me?
She asked quietly, staring at the wall. Haven't you realized yet?
Yes, but love. It's a big word.
What else am I supposed to say? What does it matter what words I use? My feelings. That's what's important. Feelings. Kagome was slouching over, so trying to occupy as little space as possible. Yes, I don't feel ashamed to tell the world about it. I walked out on the balcony, opened the window, and shouted. God, I hope Himitsu's out there. God, I hope Himitsu's out there. Fuck, yes, I hope Himitsu's out there. Oh boy. Nikolai Anakin loves Kagome Iwamura.
Nico-san!
She ran over to me, grabbed me by the hand, tried to pull me away from the window, but I didn't let her. Do you believe me now?
I will when you close the window and calm down.
I lingered for about 10 more seconds and finally closed the window.
What am I supposed to do with you?
Kagome sighed when I walked back to the table. You can love me just like I love you.
Yeah, I can do that.
She suddenly said in a languorous voice, and slowly, with cat-like grace, crawled up to me. I told you I won't let you seduce me next time. You did. And then they boned. When we were done. I knew. I'm like, those look like two different sex scenes. I was right. Mimi, smart man. We were done. It was dark outside, and we had to go to the festival. Damn, y'all fucked till dark. Like, he ran into Himitsu in the morning, came back inside, and then y'all fucked till it was nighttime? Damn, impressive. Sex does, of course, distract from everything else, so I totally forgot about Himitsu. Yeah, or the fact that you screamed out your love confession to the entire village. We walked down the street hand in hand, many of the people we knew, or just strangers looking at us in surprise, even giggling sometimes. Kagome only smiled shyly and turned her gaze away. You're braver than usual. Do you think I should be ashamed of something? No, it's just you're usually not so... Pause to find an appropriate word. What? Not so daring. I kidnapped a woman, I said and smirked. I thought you liked daring girls. Take Kobayashi. Come on, what does she have to do with this? Move already. Kagome softly jabbed my side with an elbow. All traditional Japanese festivals look alike. Whether they're dedicated to the deceased, a local minor deity, or the fertility of soil, there are always plenty of stalls with food and entertainment. You can catch goldfish, shoot targets with a pneumatic rifle, and of course, eat candy apples. Nice. I immediately bought one for Kagome. We aren't here to eat. Really? I never thought this was the main point of the festivals. Maybe for other people, but our family budget still hasn't recovered from your yukata. Yukata's on you, so at the very least, it's not mine. Stop already. You said yourself that everything's fine. We're going to see how fine it is by the end of the month when we have nothing to eat. Couldn't tell whether she was being serious or trying to make fun of me. Alright, you know what? I'll get a second job. Maybe I can unload trains at night. But Nico-san, there are no cargo trains stopping here. And we said like a teacher correcting the mistake of an inattentive student. Well then, I don't know. If there's a will, there's a way. Maybe you should stop drinking with your colleagues on Fridays? Like it's for me to decide. Drinking after work is part of a good work ethic in Japan. You could turn down the invitation once or twice, but if you ignore it all the time, you'd be considered strange at best. Although in my defense, I could say that I didn't drink too hard on those evenings, usually being the first to leave. Besides, we can't just save money our entire lives, right? It's better to earn more than to spend less. Kagome said nothing, focusing on her apple. Local kids ran by us, shouting happily. First they looked at me with bulging eyes. Tall, non-Asian men were an oddity here. With time, people got used to me, and my appearance stopped being a surprise to anyone. I suddenly thought that Kagome and I could eventually have children, too. What are you dreaming about, Nico-san? Do you like children? Not much. Why? Because they're small, hyperactive, know nothing, and obey no one. And they run around and scream all the time. Oh. I drawled, not knowing what to say. Why are you asking? She smiled slyly and continued. It's a bit too early for us to have children. That's not what I meant. Just, you see, they ran by. That's not what I meant. Just, you see, they ran by, so the question came to the mind. Besides, what children would we be having if you didn't like them? I was talking about children in general. Everyone loves their own. Yeah, if only. Well, yeah, that makes sense. By the way, there, want to shoot some targets? I ran to the booth with the pneumatic rifles to end that awkward conversation. I didn't manage to hit any of the targets, so we got no prizes. Kagome refused to shoot, but at the same time, didn't make fun of my marksmanship. I thought it'd be worse. Worse how? Do you think I'd blind someone with a bullet? No, that's not what I meant. I thought the festival would be worse, more boring. Have you never been to a festival like this before? Have you? Well, yeah, as a child. With your red-headed friend. Kagome reminded me of Himitsu, and I involuntarily looked around, searching for two red braids in the crowd. Yeah, I didn't know anyone else in Japan when I was little, and our homes were next to each other. Nico-san, you don't have to make excuses. She didn't even notice that the mention of Himitsu had made me alerted. You haven't answered the question. Kagome grew noticeably sad and replied quietly. I have, when I was a kid, with my mother. Are those bad memories? No, it was fun. It's been 3 years already, but I still can't get used to not having her around. Suddenly felt terrible that I'd come to terms with my parents' death in so much less time. It's hard, I get it. And my grandfather, she made a little smile. What would he do without me? Nico-san, recently it feels as if sometimes I'm happy our restaurant burned down. But that's wrong. I didn't know how to respond to that. Of course, it was hard for her to carry the entire restaurant on her shoulders, with her grandfather being of little help. And with a life like that, she was more likely to skip university to spend the rest of her life serving ramen. In a way, our current life was somewhat easier for Kagome. At least she was in charge of her life. I'm worried about Granddad, but if he's well... Kagome exhaled loudly, looked at me and smiled. What do you think, Nico-san? About what? I pretended not to understand. Do you like our current life? Like it? It's not exactly the word I'd use to describe our situation. Nico-san. Kagome stopped and stomped her foot. Of course she was wearing her usual shoes instead of geita. I'm just trying to collect my thoughts and figure out what's going on, how to live from now on. You know, not everything comes easily to me. And if I get together with a girl, I didn't want to tell her directly that she wasn't my first. If I like a girl, I usually don't expect her to reciprocate, and if we get together, it usually surprises me. You're underestimating yourself. Her patronizing tone sounded inappropriate, and her words hurt me a little. We approached a booth with a schedule for the festival. Look, there are fireworks on soon. Let's find somewhere high up. Somewhere near Himitsu? I grabbed Kagome by the hand and ran to the torii, behind which stone steps went up.